What it is, great people. The home of motivation. To trust God and live your dreams. New soul music. All right. What it is, great people, you know who it is. I am Mr. Darkeye. You tuned in to the Mr. Darkeye podcast right here on Anchor FM. New soul music, the home of motivation. To trust God and live your dreams. Today on the show, I ain't even got to talk about my sponsor because my sponsor is here. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Yeah. Don Johnson is here in the building with me. How you doing today, Don?
I'm doing real good. Happy to be here with you.
Hey, this is exciting. This is an exciting journey for both of us.
Yes,
you know?
Yeah.
And as we talked about before, me being in alignment with you all these years that you've been in business.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
it's like our paths have just kind of been interwoven, and now it's kind of like, okay, this is a time.
Right.
This is a moment.
Absolutely. So here we are, new things coming and happening already. It's 2023, and you're doing a lot.
Yeah, I'm the woman who do too much.
But you're being productive.
I'm being productive.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a thing about being busy doing nothing,
right,
versus being productive
and have an impact.
Yeah, have an impact, because you definitely have an impact on your community, and you're so humble about it. Where does that come from?
Because none of this was intentional. Mm-hmm. It was really about me availing myself to my community and saying, Lord, thank you for blessing me with the opportunity to open my business. I'm here to serve, and whatever platform you give me, I will utilize it to give you glory. So,
absolutely. Amen to that. Amen to that. How did the life of an entrepreneur find you, though? Was that something you always seen yourself doing, being an entrepreneur?
Actually not. My vision, I had this funny story. There's a picture of me when I was in third grade. I tell us a lot of times that all I knew is in the community that I lived in, we lived in an apartment, and there were 2 apartment buildings in front, in the middle of the block. And then there were houses on either side of us. And I think it was the way of, at that time I grew up in inner city in New York, where they were trying to have mixed income communities to try to, make sure that we're giving exposure to all people to aspire to do different things. So I recognized really quickly at a very young age that the people who had on kind of like uniforms, they usually left for work really early in the morning. The kids were latchkey kids. We had to get ourselves to school and let ourselves in the house. But then there were people who lived in the houses, and they were carrying briefcases, wearing suits and dresses and high heel shoes. And they were walking their kids to school. And it was just a different type of lifestyle. So all I knew is that I was going to carry a briefcase and wear a suit. Wow. That's as much as I could envision. I don't know what I was going to do, but I was going to have a briefcase and probably wear some heels and a suit. So there's a picture of me in third grade with a 3-piece red suit on.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Wow.
So I was kind of putting a plan in motion. I didn't really know what it was going to be about. So
wow.
I watched my mother, who loved to cook and work in a variety of places cooking. And then her desire was to own her own restaurant. And she only had like a third grade education. And to watch her be able to do that probably planted a seed in me that I could really do whatever I wanted to do. So that was in the back of my mind. And when I started out in corporate America, I had worked in corporate America for about 15 years, and then the opportunity presented itself for me to own my own State Farm insurance agency. And that's how, all those little seeds, they just kind of, they come together and they turn into something. And I think I was learning so much that I wish I had known earlier on in life. That part of me going out and owning my own business was because I felt like it could give me a platform to teach so many people at a younger age the things that I was just learning. Understanding financial matters and financial literacy. I mean, I didn't really get it. And so I was about 35.
Okay.
And I'm an obedient person. So if I
Right.
had learned that in high school,
Right.
I would have been a millionaire like now.
Right. Right.
So instead of being frustrated and mad that no one was teaching me those things. I mean, my parents did the best that they could with what they had, but they didn't have a whole lot. So they can only teach based on what they had. So, having more just planted in my mind that I wanted to make sure that I was teaching others how they can maximize their finances and have homes, have cars, have whatever they want with a plan. So that's how it all really got started.
Wow, that is an amazing story.
Yeah.
And this, like, you telling me, you say, okay, you was in a third grade when you had this vision?
Of myself.
Wow.
What I got on today.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Wow. And
Yeah.
then you say your mom, third grade education?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and back then,
Yeah.
they're all the kids, whoever, however they're learning. She grew up in Orangeburg, but they're all going to like one room and being taught at different levels. So between the third and the eighth grade education, and probably is the max that she was able to attain.
Wow. So I was just thinking about the fact that, if that's the case, and then you had the vision in third grade, you know what I'm saying, as well. So that's just amazing to me. I never would have thought that. So you are someone, I think, that you so like destined for this.
Yeah,
like this,
yeah.
you are definitely walking in your purpose right now, and you was shown that at an early age. That's amazing. So now now that you are in this space that you're in, and you're so much more than just selling insurance, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? So much more to that than because I know me personally, being a customer all these years, I always felt like that there was so much more, especially since I saw and heard so much about what you were doing in the community.
Right.
So talk about your love for the community, and just how you are got all these things lined up and what you really want to do, how you want to impact the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And most of it I stumbled into, right? So I had some passion around, I always knew financial literacy was going to be kind of a platform for me because I was just frustrated with not knowing, like, the fact that educational systems don't teach money management. That just bugged me to no end. And I'm grateful to know now that it's becoming a priority. I think the State House just passed some legislation that makes financial literacy a priority within educational systems. So I'm grateful for that. And I didn't have to go to the State House to make it happen.
Absolutely.
But so that became kind of the foundation. But when I got here, Central City Optimist Club and all the people there, like, those are the most encouraging, supportive, positive people on the planet, I believe. So that was kind of my first stop in becoming a part of that. Mr. Charles Robinson rolled out the red carpet for me and introduced me to lots of people, and I started going to those meetings, and that became a way that I saw that I could learn what was going on in the community and what the needs really were. So that was kind of my first introduction to community service. And I feel like they trained and nurtured me. And then when they were rolling off of different boards and seats, they offered my name up to be a part of those things. So I remember Lonnie Harvey was at the Rock Hill Economic Development Corporation, and when he rolled off, he suggested that I replace him. And that was really where I started to learn and understand, like, what goes on in the city, who the decision makers are, how things happen, these public-private partnerships, and started developing relationships there, really, and just sat back, listened, learned, watched. And then as I became a part of helping with a lot of those initiatives, I realized that there were some needs, within the south side of the community, for instance, that were not being met, and started learning and hearing. So as I grew in responsibility within RHEDC, I began to talk about those needs, and everything just kind of happened organically. None of it was like a real plan or, a mission of mine. It was just really about me learning and trying to help and trying to help people navigate, trying to figure out how to have a voice, what tables could I get to sit at and share what those needs were, and then how could I bring other people with me. So it really was an organic journey of learning, growing, helping, and yeah, and some amazing things just start to happen when just availing yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it happens organically like that when your heart is pure and you are um just having a concern and consideration for people, you know,
Right.
and God going to put you in that position to do those things because He
Right.
trusts you. And I think that is just amazing that you continue to consistently do that, you know, and you don't let up. You just keep going, you
Right.
know.
It's a faith walk,
Yeah,
you
it
know.
is. It definitely is a faith walk. And because like you said, you starting out, you don't really know what the plan is, you know,
Right.
you don't even see the whole picture, but
Absolutely.
you still going, you know.
Right.
That's like that faith of Abraham right there. Like you don't know where
Exactly.
you're going to end up or how it's going to go, but you willing to go. And you know,
And God provides, you
yeah,
know, vision. And then you have to trust, like, you don't know exactly how things are going to work out. You don't know if you're going to have people to support you, if you're going to be going it alone. But when you just wake up in the morning and say, okay, Lord, this day is really yours. I have some plans, but it's your day.
it's it.
And when you really do that, it's amazing what He will do through you. So when I think about being a part of, you know, Bell and the Community Healing Initiative and Clean Connection, like some really impactful work, that was all, you know, God. And there were challenges within those situations, but even through the challenges, I prayed and like, Lord, okay, I didn't really like ask for this. So you have to work it out. And He would just give me, you know, ideas and visions and strategies to help, you know, navigate some things, and opportunities just came that just, you know, I couldn't, you know, do any of these things, but the people came, talented people, new people that I was meeting and wanting to do the work and willing to work together. And it was just, you know, amazing to see how when talented people come together around a good cause, how things just begin to happen and grow. So now I'm at a phase where there's so much going on and there's a lot of different people involved in a lot of different spaces and places that I get to kind of pull back now and say, okay, because I've used community service kind of as my education, right? So I feel like I have a PhD now in community service because if I wanted to know something or understand it, I would join some kind of organization because I felt like to learn it really, you had to be involved with people who were doing the work so that you can understand the work. So through being a part of those organizations, I learned about various things. And so now I'm kind of like, okay, I've been a part of so much. I've learned so much. Now what do I do with all of this? You know, some really important initiatives are spinning off and I'm still a part of those things, but it's like the creation phase is a little bit over for me. And now it's more about the sharing. So that's where, because I wasn't intentional initially, I just kind of let things organically happen. So now I'm trying to add some intentionality around, okay, what feels good to me? Like, where are my sweet spots? What do I love? And I centered around, because even it's funny when I show up in meetings and people say, oh, introduce yourself. I stutter because I don't know what to say.
You don't know where to start. You do so much.
Like, yeah, I own a State Farm insurance agency, but I'm here. Maybe it's the Bell chair, or maybe it's, you know, this chair RTDC or chair of that. And now I jokingly say I'm just on, right?
Okay.
Simply just on, availing myself in any space to do what I can to help people. So that's kind of becoming a new brand for me, that I want to be intentional about 3 things that I love, which is financial empowerment, community empowerment, and women's empowerment.
Okay.
So I'm focusing my efforts around those 3 different things. And I don't know how long this season will last. I never know. I just have what I call headlight faith. God shines a light on some stuff and I just follow as long as, you know, as far as I can see the headlights.
Yeah.
So so that's what I'm embarking upon now. And there's some initiatives coming. I tend to also turn my pain into projects. So even
I like that.
The Bell Prize initiative, you know, came out of just some of those ideas and connecting with people who wanted to help with those ideas. was based on my pain as an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I knew insurance inside and out. I could do it in my sleep. It's what I've been doing since I graduated from college.
Mm-hmm.
But running a business
Mm-hmm.
was a whole different animal.
Right.
And I didn't feel like I had anyone I could talk to. I didn't know who to go to for what. So I read a lot of books, went a lot of meetings and places trying to learn what I could learn. So that's kind of how some of the work that's being done there came to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
So then now I'm looking at, you know, the whole community engagement piece. We're trying, you know, as a community, I think we're trying to figure out how do we get things developed
Mm-hmm.
in our disenfranchised areas. And through, you know, spending years and years and years trying to build relationships and be a part of conversations and learning who does what and
Mm-hmm.
how does the city operate, how does the county operate. I've been able to, I feel like, have an impact in those areas. And now I just want to kind of teach people, this is how I did it. This is what I learned. Maybe you don't have, your learning curve doesn't have to be as steep.
Mm-hmm.
And just share what I have to offer. So I'm just trying to find spaces in which people want to learn, want to grow, especially our young people,
Mm-hmm.
trying to get them engaged civically and understanding what it takes, how do you network,
Mm-hmm.
who do you need to be in relationship with to really try to get things done. So then my financial empowerment piece, you know, I've
Mm-hmm.
already been doing a lot of that, but now I'm trying to really streamline it. So I have a program called 8 Steps to Financial Empowerment.
Okay.
So that's ongoing. People can go to my website, dawnjohnsoncares.com,
Mm-hmm.
and they can sign up or express interest in that. I started something else called Life Legacy Luncheons.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been out of, you know, I just lost my mom last year.
Oh,
And that
wow.
was a really, really challenging experience for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it also, you know, caring for elderly parents is, you know, a journey in and of itself.
Right.
And I
Right.
don't know that we talk enough about
Yeah.
how do you do that, what resources are available. So that was a bit of a challenging experience for me, very humbling. You know, you think you know stuff and you really don't know a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like there needs to be, again, more spaces where we're coming together. We all know that hopefully we will grow old.
Right. Right.
We're now, I think, to the place where we may have some assets. I think before, you know, some of us had assets, some of us may not have, but I think more and more of us are gaining assets, and we need to know how to properly disseminate our assets, how to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that it goes where we want it to go, that the people who we want to inherit it, like I've probably been a part of 3 inheritances and they're all probably kind of lost just because, you know, people, our folks not really knowing how to do wills, do trusts, make sure that, you know, they understand the law and
Mm-hmm.
legally how things, assets get passed down to various people.
Mm-hmm.
What can happen when you don't plan, when you don't have good discussions with your family, to help them understand how you want things to happen, because then, you know, we don't want to hurt feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we want to leave houses to people who don't have houses, but it's like they don't have a house for a reason.
Right.
And then you
Right.
expect them to keep it when you leave it to them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, you know, other people are upset. So there's just a whole lot of conversation and a whole
Yeah.
lot of planning and understanding that needs to go into that
Mm-hmm.
so that we can truly build generational wealth. I mean, I think we as a people have probably lost so much in terms of houses, property, and land for that very reason.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the Life Legacy Luncheons are about, like
Mm-hmm.
bringing families together around the table to talk about those things. How do
Mm-hmm.
we plan effectively? How do we have conversations with our children so they know
Right.
what we're thinking? So that's near and dear to my heart right now. So I do quite a bit. I have one coming up actually on April 8th. So if
Okay.
anyone's interested, they can still sign up to participate
Mm-hmm.
in that. And then I'm doing something called the Mother Daughter Project.
Wow.
And that's under the women's empowerment piece. And that's my journey as a mom.
Yeah. 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 Yep.
And
another thing that you do.
another hat that I wear.
Another hat that you wear, the mom hat.
The mom hat. And I have a beautiful daughter. She's 18. And
Your twin.
Yes, my twin.
Yeah, she is.
Yes. But I don't think, again, I'm grateful that there were 10 women and 10 mothers and 10 daughters that were really willing to come together to say, these are conversations that we need to be having, because our relationship with our parents really kind of demonstrate how we're showing up in the world. And mothers and daughters, we bump heads. We just do, right? Is you got the hormone thing, you have, daughters trying to find themselves and figure themselves out. And you can have a beautiful relationship, but there can still be challenges. And I think that we need to, when I grew up, it was, you just do what I say. There was no explaining, no questions, no pushback. It's because I said so. It's because I said so. And we have a new generation that's not who they are. And they want to push back, but they want to, they're trying to figure it out. And this was a very vulnerable space for people to be in, because we were pulling the curtain back to say, these are the challenging aspects of this relationship. And so I'm grateful to the women for being willing to do that, to being willing to be vulnerable, because we're all, great, have good families. And for the most part, people see the front stage, but there is a backstage, and we need all moms to know that we're just doing the best that we can, all of us. And we need to start talking about these challenges. Mental health is a real thing. And I think this generation is just having a different way of managing their feelings, their behaviors. They have exposure to so much, and we are parenting in a different world, and we can't parent the way that our parents parented, and we need to start talking through that. So we're hoping that by us having these conversations and this dialogue, and it's been hard, but that we're opening up doors and opportunities for other moms and daughters to have real conversations before our children go off into the world, and we can really help them be more effective and help us, figure out what they need and figure out what this new parenting dynamic really is. So that'll be, actually, we'll have a premiere, a compilation of what these discussions have been about. It'll be on April 30th. So again, people can go to my website and find out more about that. And then we'll have kind of a compilation premiere, but starting on Mother's Day, we will have just different segments that will drop every Sunday from that point forward, probably for about 3 months. And we hope that we can spark more conversations to go on in schools and churches and organizations where mothers and daughters are having real dialogue about this journey.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we'll be right back. We're talking with Dawn Johnson, and she's sharing an amazing story. We really want you to get the rest of this, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. The Mr. Darkeye podcast is being brought to you by Dawn Johnson State Farm Insurance. Activate Dawn in your life and experience the impact. Why? Because Dawn Johnson is a visionary. She's determined, people-focused, a problem solver, and she's generous. Visit DawnJohnson.net and DawnJohnsonCares.com to learn more about her work with the people and the community. Does Dawn Johnson do too much? Maybe, but that's just Dawn. She loves the people, and she is a change agent. So make sure you stop by Dawn Johnson State Farm Insurance, located at Rock Hills, Manchester Village, off of Dave Loud Boulevard, 572 John Ross Parkway, Suite 106, directly across from TJ Maxx and in between Sweet Frog and the UPS store. And don't forget to tell them Mr. Darkeye sent you. Yes, we are back. You are watching and listening to the Mr. Darkeye podcast right here on Anchor FM, New Soul Music, the home of motivation to trust God and live your dreams. We are talking with just Dawn Johnson, the woman who do many, many things, being productive out here in the community. Her story is amazing, as you've already heard. Such a cute story about her being in the 3rd grade with that 3-piece suit on. And now it's come full circle, and she's out here in the community serving well, and the people love her. So just Dawn, though, that's where we headed right now. That's the brand.
Yeah.
You know, when it all comes down to it, you do a whole lot, but that's just Dawn, right?
Yep.
So new journeys, so many things that you just shared, though. I was just thinking about, like, the fact that you said you turn your pain into projects. I think that's amazing. That's I don't know, it's just something about that just speaks so much power.
Right.
Turn your pain into projects. And And as you just talk about all the many different things that you are thinking about, that you are wanting to do, I'm thinking to myself, like, it is so amazing to me. I think that's like a superpower for women, that y'all can have all of these different things locked into
Yeah.
your minds. It's like you ain't skipping nothing. Like, you remembering everything and so much details about what's needed.
Right.
And coming up with action plans to tackle all of those things. I just think that's a superpower that I feel like only women have.
Thank you for admitting that.
It really is, because I'm like, wow, I've been and forgot like all of that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, so that's amazing to me. And I think that you know, with that, you know, those things in the community, those concerns and all those things that you're seeing and you're knowing what needs to be done.
Yeah.
I feel like that is a way for us to kind of have an outline to manage these things and to
Right.
be able to tackle these things, you know,
Exactly.
and know what we need to do strategically when it comes down to each one. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Yep.
So that's amazing to me.
Yeah, and with you mentioning that, I mean, there's also something I started when I turned 50.
Mhm.
So I turned 50 right before COVID
I don't
hit.
believe it. I really don't. But go ahead.
Yes, I will be 54 this year.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is
I can't believe it.
amazing.
But so I turned 50 right before COVID hit, and I had these plans that when I turned 50, I was going to start kind of downgrading some things, simplifying life a little bit. I guess I forgot to talk over God, because he was like, "No, I didn't say that."
Yeah, that
He's like,
part
"I have
happens.
some different things for you to
That
do."
happens.
So I had my 50th birthday party, and it was just intimate gathering of really close friends. It wasn't anything big. I had something at the office. And so then my plan was I was chasing waterfalls, right? So I was going to pick like one day, I think a month, that I was going to just do some self-care. So I was going to spend some time at a spa, quiet space, just be about me, tell my daughter, my husband, you can't call me. I'm just doing me right now. And then another day a month, I plan to go hiking and chasing water. I love waterfalls and I love hiking. So I was just going to visit all of the different places in the area that I could drive to that had waterfalls and hiking trails. So that was my mental health way, the way I was going to deal with my, doing so much and trying to manage it all and feed my spirit in the process. So it so then COVID hit, right? So couldn't do the spa thing, couldn't go visit, go hiking or anything. So I held, that year in the house, but then I realized how important friendships were and how during COVID I relied so much on being able to connect with people, and we like lift each other up and keep each other encouraged through this very challenging time that we really didn't know what was going on. So out of that, I began every birthday. From that point, I started kind of doing a little bit of a gathering. The first time I did a brunch, and it was about 20 women. And then the next time I did a brunch, it was about 40 women. And then what happened was when we were having this brunch, people didn't want to leave. Like we just kind of started lingering, and it was so good to see each other. It was like a reunion. So then this past year, I did more of a weekend. So we stayed at a hotel.
Wow.
We had dinner together, and it was just so much fun, just laughing and loving on each other. And we were all positive and pouring into each other. And so I just had this epiphany that the first weekend of every November, I'm going to do a self-care weekend. And bring women together. You forget your mom, forget your wife, forget your business owner, forget about your job. This is your weekend to be selfish, to just focus on you. And so that's what we're going to do this year. It's going to be a self-care weekend, inviting women down to a Valentine Hotel for a weekend of just loving on each other.
Wow.
And focusing on, what is important to keep us, to your point. We do too much. We do.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of who we are. But how do we keep ourselves balanced in the midst of all that? How do we make sure that we're taking care of ourselves financially? Because that's a big thing for me. When I first started an agency, I read a statistic that the average net worth for the Black woman was $5. And I started thinking about that because this was factoring in Oprah, Beyonce,
Mm-hmm.
and me, and anybody have
Mm-hmm.
anything. So I'm like, when we put us all together
Mm-hmm.
and average it out. And so I started to do my research, and it wasn't because we don't know how to manage money. It's
Mm-hmm.
because we kind of become the first national bank of our families.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody needs something. They come to, you know, that person.
Mm-hmm.
We're just constantly giving and pouring out and not taking care of ourselves financially a lot of the time. So just figuring out, not that we want to be less giving, but we want to be more strategic, like teaching other people to be financially empowered.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when I give you money this time, I'm going to give you a budget along with it
Right.
to help you learn how to help yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, how do we lift ourselves up that way financially and others with us?
Mm-hmm.
So that becomes a priority, how to take care of ourselves financially, physically,
Mm-hmm.
and emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what that weekend's going to be about.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Men, we need to take notes because that is beautiful. I think that's amazing. I always see that though, women coming together and, you know, just being really purpose partners and holding each other accountable for things. You know, I really do feel like us as men, we definitely can learn from the unity that y'all show so effortlessly towards one another. And I think that's amazing about the self-love and self-care, because that's important.
It is.
You know, we don't do that enough and don't practice that enough.
Exactly.
You know, we learn to love everything and everyone but ourselves.
Right.
And it's not gonna work.
Yep. So permission to be selfish.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with it at all. You know, I am a new traveler. I've started traveling with some people that's been following me. So one of the things that they talk about on the plane is making sure, you know, you put your oxygen mask on first to take care of you before you. So that's something that we can apply to life.
Exactly.
You know,
and that's why I strategically picked November, because I think the first week in November, your year is slowing down, right? Whatever you were going to accomplish, you pretty much accomplished. So you can really do some self-assessment, start to kind of take some things off your plate. You're gearing up for the holidays. Thanksgiving's coming, Christmas is coming. You're about to give yourself to everybody again, but you're leading into a new year. So this is a time to kind of just reflect about the year that just passed, the year that you're going into, and then use the holidays to really just be in the moment. We talked about that a little bit, and just really appreciate and love on your family after you love on yourself. Put your oxygen mask on the first week in November, and then you can put it on for others through the holidays, and then start your year off, you know, in a brand new way, refreshed with energy and focus.
Absolutely. You are, to me, a great example of having that balance. You know what I'm saying? Because you talk about doing so much, but now you're learning how to show that, you know, the self-care and the self-love is important as well, and how to actually do it. That's that part I see about you, that's important too, the how-to part, the education piece.
Right.
You know, because so many people see it, but they don't know, like, how is she doing this? You know what I'm saying? You know, like, you're giving them the secret sauce.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
and that's something that was new for me coming into bail and going to all of those networking events and things of that nature, and seeing how people were so willing to share and to talk about how to do this and how to do that. If you ask the question, like, yo, yeah, of course, this is how you do it. This is the resource. This is where you go. You know, I didn't grow up around that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Around people like that was willing to share information like that, because they like, nah, I ain't giving you my information, you know, telling you how I do this and that and the third. So
because it, you know, society teaches a scarcity mindset. And you know, God tells us, you know, everything is given abundantly. So.
Absolutely, you got to be a cheerful giver.
Absolutely.
And I do that now. Like, I share information all the time. So yeah, you know, you all inspired that for me, because I was in that mindset, like sharing my information with you. Like, no, you know, if I share it with you, then why you ain't gonna need me. That's how I used to look at it.
Yeah, wow.
But
that's powerful.
Yeah, that's how I looked at it. But you know, it definitely changed my perspective.
I love it. And that's what I hope this partnership is about. You know, we'll talk about what's going on with Just On, but also I like to bring on our friends that we've made in Bell and through Bell Prize, so we can hear where they are now, because we had some people win money, but we also have everyone gain knowledge. So it would be wonderful to hopefully bring those folks back and see what they're doing, how they're doing, you know, what those experiences and lessons have taught them and how they're continuing their journey.
Absolutely. I definitely want to have them on so we can catch up and see how great they're doing, because we know they're doing great. I feel like anybody coming out of Bell, you ain't got no choice but to do great.
Absolutely.
Because you're surrounded by greatness.
Exactly.
It's going to definitely impact your life. It definitely impacted mine. For those of you who are following me, I would definitely say that a lot of what you're seeing now is a lot of what I learned through Bell, especially with the business model canvas.
Yeah.
That was life changing for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that really changed everything for my business. So definitely the website for Bell is
bellofrockhill.org.
Yeah, bellofrockhill.org. Go on there, get the information, find out when they're going to be doing.
Yeah, we have Kaufman going on now.
The next one.
Yeah,
Okay.
Every Tuesday. Right now, we just started. Tonight is our third class.
Okay.
And third of 10. And then in the fall we will do another boot camp.
Okay.
And then hopefully we'll do another round of Bell Prize in the next. Well, we'll do the pitch competitions and then the workshops and all that, going leading into February 2024.
Absolutely. And if y'all need me, y'all let me know.
Absolutely.
I could come through, be a judge, guest speaker, come through, give some information.
You on the list.
Definitely call me. I would love to do it.
Yeah. And We'll keep giving updates as we formalize this partnership and I come back.
Yeah.
We'll continue to make sure everybody knows what's going on.
Because we could do a 3-hour podcast easy.
Yep.
You know,
easy.
We definitely could, but we gonna break it up because we know y'all attention spans can get a little shaky, you know. But we want you to keep coming back for more because Don does so much, and we love you for that, though.
Thank you. I love y'all too.
Yes,
I love everybody.
Yes, I know you do. You got a big old heart. But definitely, you have a website for just Dawn?
Yes, so it's DawnJohnsonCares.com.
Okay.
And you'll find all information as I shift and start talking about this brand. There'll be more information to come.
So the Just Dawn brand, all that stuff is on Dawn Johnson Cares. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
All right. Definitely. So make sure y'all go on our website and get all of that information. And don't forget to stop by Don Johnson State Farm Insurance.
Yes, that started it all.
Yeah, that started it all. She's located in Manchester Village between the UPS store and Sweet Frog. So definitely stop by. She's going to take care of you in so many ways, more than you could ever imagine, in ways you didn't even think of. And you're going to get some candy, too. She got candy in her front lobby.
And don't forget to tell me that you heard about us on the Mr. Darkeye podcast.
Absolutely. Make sure you mention that. So we're going to keep this partnership going. I am so excited about what God is going to do. He's already doing amazing things. And, every day I wake up now just with the expectations of God doing something great.
Yeah.
And it's been working.
It works.
People, wake up with that expectation. Live life on purpose.
Yes.
Dawn Johnson, you are amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thank y'all for watching and listening to the Mr. Darkeye podcast. We got so much more to come with Dawn Johnson, and she's going to continue to impact the community and be just Dawn. All right. Thank y'all again. This has been the Mr. Darkeye podcast, motivation to trust God and live your dreams. We'll catch y'all next time. Bye. Say bye, Dawn.
Bye.